Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the regular meeting of East Montgomery County Improvement District's Board of Directors. Today is Thursday, August the 10th, 2017. We always begin with a prayer and the pledge. And I will ask Director Wetz if he will lead us in the prayer, and Director Carlisle to lead us in the pledges. If you'll please rise.
Inspired. Father, we thank you for the day you give us, Lord. We just ask you to be servants of you here tonight, and the decisions that are being made to be best for our community and the ones in our community, Lord. We thank you for the opportunity to give us to serve. We ask these things in Christ's name.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Before we begin, I would just ask everyone if you would please silence your phones just so there's no interruptions during the meeting. I appreciate it. The very first item on our agenda this evening is to consider comments from members of the audience. We have two people that are signed up to speak. The first one will be Ms. Liz Atkinson. Good evening, ladies. If you'll turn the microphone on at the podium, just turn it on until the green light comes on.
Green light.
It is on. Very good. Thank you.
I don't like buttons. I'm Yvanka's support for the evening. She was one of our girls that you guys helped send to Girls Day this year.
Wonderful.
She's going to say a few words.
Okay. Welcome.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you so much for funding, and I'm speaking for all the girls who went to Girls State. I feel like it was a really enlightening program, and it definitely helped revive patriotism, which is so much needed in our youth right now. And it was just so beautiful, and I wish I could just express my gratitude to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We were certainly very happy to do so, and I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Thank you. I have a certificate of appreciation that I'd like to present to the East Montgomery County Improvement District on behalf of the American Legion Ladies Auxiliary Unit 615. Certifies of appreciation is greatly presented to East Montgomery County Improvement District in recognition and sincere appreciation of outstanding service and assistance which contributed to the advancement of the American Legion Auxiliary programs and activities dedicated to God and country.
Thank you so much. Could we meet over here and take a picture while you present it to us? Next we have Mr. Andrew Berry with a skilled nursing facility. Good evening. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm here to speak about a project we're developing in this area. The company I'm here on behalf of is VR Porter Health Realty. So we purchased a 12-acre site off of Valley Range Parkway to propose a development of a skilled nursing facility. It would be a 116-bed facility. The total project cost as of today would be around $12 million, and then an annual payroll of about $4 million. And it should employ, once fully stabilized, about 140 full-time employees. And in addition, it would create about 120 construction jobs. Additionally, the benefits to the community would be, I really wasn't prepared to speak, so this is why I'm a little flustered. Additionally, some of the other benefits this facility would provide is it would help to address a medical need in your community. I think today you are designated as a medically underserved area by the Department of Health and Human Services. So this would help to address that need. And I believe the Department of Age and Disability Services also found that this area lacked reasonable access to quality nursing facility care. So today you only have one facility within around an 8-mile area, and that facility is running 100% occupancy. So there's really no access for people needing the kind of care that we're going to develop. And so what we're seeking from the organization is some assistance potentially to offset the cost in the land. Infrastructure cost is much higher than we projected. It's going to be about $600,000 for us to put water and sewer on that site. So that's kind of why we're here today, to see if there's any funds available to help offset some of those costs.
Okay.
And I can provide some additional information. I've met with Mr. McCready before and provided information on the project, and I can send additional information out to them as well if they'd like.
Thank you.
Yes.
This, yeah.
We talked about it last month.
Yeah.
And it's on the agenda for approval.
Okay. Thank you.
Very
We appreciate you. We appreciate you coming out, and look forward to y'all expanding into this area.
Yeah, we're excited.
Definitely much needed.
It's a good area.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
We think
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. The next item is to approve the minutes of the Board of Directors meeting held on July 13th, July 17th, and July 31st of 2017. So I need a motion, please, to approve the minutes of all the meetings.
Except the July 31st, 2017, those need to get out to everybody in advance, so we defer those to the next meeting.
Deferring the July 31st, 2017 minutes. This will be the motion for the meeting approval of the minutes for July 13th and July 17th. And there's a motion by Director Pearson
A second.
and a second by Director Zepeda. Is there any discussion regarding these? All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. The next item is the bookkeeping report and cash flow report. Good evening, Ms. Kay.
Okay, everyone should have your supplemental bookkeeper report. If you will turn over to page 2, you see your account balances. In your operating account, you have $2,863,40.12. Capital projects, $96,043.95. In your debt service, $1,095,177.73. There is a debt service payment to be made next week. We'll get to that at the end of the report. And then on your reserve, you have $1,039,667.70. And in your events account, which shows on page 3, you have a total of $80,117.75 for a total of all funds of $5,174,47.25. Page 4 is your cash flow for the checks that were received today. Your balance forward was $15,190.36. You received your sales tax, total of $920,169.67. You have total disbursements of $358,504.37, leaving $576,855.66 in the general operating checking account. The next 3 pages, 5, 6, and 7, are your budget versus actual for the month of July. There's the only changes, as I always say, are the checks that you are signing today. Page 8 is your sales tax revenue history for all the years since 2011. And then the next 2 pages are your summary of pledged securities, which are all in order. And then the last page, as I was saying, you have a debt service payment due on 8/15. We will wire that payment, and there is plenty of funds available in your debt service account. And that is all of the bookkeeper report. Are there any questions on this or the first original report?
Anybody have any questions? If not, I would need a motion to approve.
Motion. Second.
I got a motion by Director Carlisle, a second by Director Wetz. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of approving and paying the bills? It's unanimous, thank you.
Just one more thing, we did give out the quarterly investment report. We put most of this information every month in your regular report, so I won't go over that with you, but if you see anything in this report that you have any questions on, I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. Okay, the next item is the review of the budget for the 2018 fiscal year.
This is just an item you guys have requested to be put on the agenda, and it's there for your discussion.
Well,
I know I brought this up, but I just think that we need to go back and kind of review this budget. I think we need to try to recoup some of that money that we lost, and maybe this would be a way to kind of cut back, to kind of I don't know how to do it, how to vote on it, but unless everybody got a copy of this, and let them go through it, let everybody go through it and kind of see where things should be cut back at.
I'm not speaking for you, Mark, but I think you were meeting like more of a workshop, weren't you?
Well, we're supposed to have done it at the workshop the other day, I thought, but it never happened. So if we have to have a workshop, maybe that's the way to do it.
I was thinking that's what you were meaning when you said it was over.
It probably is something that we would need to do, set it up as a workshop where we can sit down and all be together and have our own copies and look over it. So, can you set something up, Frank? It was
Yeah,
a
we
date
could.
to have a workshop?
Yeah, we just next couple of weeks sometime. So, we can look at setting some dates up in a couple of weeks to try to accomplish that.
The reason I was saying that was it seems to be well, I'll leave it to discuss it again.
Okay. All right. The next item is the status of economic development grants. Do you want to discuss those?
Yeah, I think probably we want to act on the first proposal you have is Veer Heinemann Hospitality, and this is, we talked about the Crystal Inn project or the hotel. You might have noticed some of the construction work going on between Grand Parkway and North Park, actually between 13 and 14 and North Park on the west side of 59, east side of 59. They've already got to mobilize the construction equipment, and once again, one of the things that we would do with them is, our recommendation would be for them to hire 3 employees from our district, and then in return for doing that, doing an annual analysis like we do with our other businesses in the district for their incentive agreements, and we would provide 25% of the hotel tax rebate in a form from the district. We can't rebate hotel tax, it has to be used for travel and tourism, but we could utilize that amount from EMCID funds, our general funds, to incentivize them to, once again, hire those individuals from our district. So it's the same owners that we have with the Best Western and the La Quinta. They're partnering and they're going to continue to expand, and they're going to continue to do more projects in our district as well. They've been very good partners in our community and continue to assist us when we need residential accommodations for businesses moving here, contractors and others. They always offer some discounted rates for our contractors and guests that come into the district. So that's what we propose in regards to an economic development grant for that project.
Frank, for what period of time?
It's a 3-year period. Yeah.
You said the west side, you mean the east side?
I did. Yeah, I said west, but I meant the east side.
Go
Yeah.
to the west.
And you see where the they're already starting to clear off some of the dirt, and that's the location. Yeah.
So you would give the, just like this is done correctly, you give, the grant would be an amount equal to 25% of the hotel tax collected over 3 years.
Correct.
So we would need a motion to approve that. Motion by Director Carlisle, second by Director Hessen. Is there any discussion? All in favor of approving the motion? And it is unanimous. Thank you.
The second project you have was, Andrew just talked to you guys just a few minutes ago. We discussed this project a little bit last month. Once again, we're very excited about that. We've been working on this project for 3 to 4 months, trying to finalize everything and understand how it fits together and kind of what the facility is going to look like. I gave you guys some handouts at the last board meeting, kind of showing you some concepts of what they're thinking about doing. Once again, it's a great project. It's 120 jobs for our community and folks, particularly in some of our high schools. I mean, I don't know, in Splendora, do they have the CNA certificates? Okay, so those are great opportunities to take our students right out of high school. If they got a CNA certificate, they can go right to work. So, and a lot of those CNA students will then go on and get their, RN degrees and other things as they continue their education. So it's a great outlet for employing our students as well as Lone Star students as they go through and matriculate to higher degrees. With 120 jobs coming, and Andrew just mentioned some other numbers to you guys in regards to, it's about a $12 million project just in construction, and about $4 million a year in payroll. So those are all positive things, but as far as funds, it's going to continue to flow in our community from the payroll perspective. And what we recommend looking at doing, he mentioned earlier, they were very good on their projections in regards to their costs for construction and what they're looking at. However, they didn't anticipate a lot of that $600,000 cost for the water and sewer connections and making all that adequate for what they had planned. So one of the ways that we looked at offsetting that was offering them $50,000 a year for years 1 through 3, just to offset some of their initial operating costs. And then finally, upon opening, reimbursing them up to $50,000 in technology enhancements that would be included inside the facility. So that would give them about $200,000 to offset some of that cost. And once again, that's 120 jobs coming to our community. We feel it's a very fair offer and a way that we can help offset some of that and make sure that they decide to stay in our community and not go somewhere else. They've already purchased the property, but again, it's just a great opportunity to have another 120 jobs come to our community.
Plus the construction jobs you mentioned, I think it was 140
Yeah.
construction, or vice versa.
Is there any requirements of where those employees come from?
Yeah, we talked through them, and then once again, we're looking at 50% of their employees come from within the district.
50%.
And just similar to what we do when we go out and like we go visit McDonald's, you know, we do an employee census, and they meet that number. If they meet that number, they get the incentive funds. If they don't meet that number, then they're not provided those incentive funds. So we want at least half of their employees to come from within the district.
Well, I'll make the motion that we accept that agreement.
Okay, motion by Director Carlisle.
I say,
That's heard second by Director Pearson. Is there any discussion? Director Zakay, did you have? No. Is there any
as long as they
discussion?
let us officially that time.
All right, hearing no discussion, all in favor of approving the motion? And that's unanimous, thank you.
Item C, you know, we've got a program we put together with Tannis Cutting College. However, we don't have a 1295 from her yet, so we'll stick her back on the agenda for next month. And we are looking at doing an incentive agreement with them to help them to grow and expand where they're located. And so we'll be ready to talk about them next month.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, outstanding. The next item is discussion on the Outstanding Citizen Award.
And we mentioned this at the last board meeting as well. We've received one nomination. And does anyone else have any others they'd like to name? Have you got it tonight? Okay, if I can just pick it up from you later, then that would be great. So once again, we need to maybe look at that and act on those. Maybe we can come back to that later once we go through those. And then once again, just gives us the opportunity to go ahead and interfacing with the communities, with the member, to make sure, you know, that they can be there and be able to accept the award at the Fire and Ice Festival, just like we did last time. So,
Maybe we can bring that up at the workshop.
We're going to try to approve it tonight.
yeah, hopefully we can go ahead and get that done tonight. We want to make sure we start coordinating with the families and make sure that they can get as many members there as possible. Okay.
Whichever one we choose.
Okay.
Okay. The next item is announcements. Are there any announcements? Okay. There is a grand opening Tuesday, August the 22nd, opening of the new Dogwood Elementary School, which is the old Aiken Elementary in Roman Forest. Okay. If there's nothing else, we will recess to executive session to discuss real property matters pursuant to section 551.072 Texas Government Code, pending or contemplated litigation pursuant to section 551.071 Texas Government Code, matters in which the duty of the attorney to the district under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflict with chapter 551 Texas Government Code, pursuant to section 551.071 Texas Government Code, and economic development negotiations pursuant to section 551.087 Texas Government Code, and we are in recess at 6:20. Okay, we are back in session at 7:37. The next item is the status of the district's 12.85 acre site, including the construction of improvements and leasing space.
Henry,
Okay. Hi, Joe.
you also have a review of the beds for, you asked me to bed out the building and the mowing facilities. And we advertised from July 19th, July 26th, and we have affidavits for you for the newspaper advertisement when we advertise. And we opened bids on August 8th this week. And we received 2 bids on the mowing. one from, get the right names here.
No.
This one?
Yes.
The one bid from EMCID Services for $82,000. We have 82 in there. The other one's from TDG Contractors for $249,228. We also took bids on the building and have affidavits attached for when we advertised on it. And we opened it August 8th also, and we only got one bid back on it from TDG, and it was for $416,587. And there's a bid tab attached on it also, to show you what we bid.
So we don't have a copy of this quote of those bids?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right here.
It's in the next couple of pages.
Right behind you. So the buildings, did that include like special events, the time? Okay.
Yeah, if you
Oh,
read,
I see it, okay, I see it.
yeah, it's all in there.
Sorry,
Everything that's included in there is. We did issue one addendum, and I don't think it got in here, but they did all get the addendum. I think on the, mowing, we forgot to put in perennials that had to be replaced, so we put that in. And, I think that's about it. The building had one, I cannot remember, it wasn't a big deal, but
The birds,
the bird.
the birds.
The birds. Yeah, the birds.
Can I ask you what newspaper did you put these in?
The, two local papers.
They came out in the local paper?
Yes.
I saw it.
Yeah, there is the advertisement is attached and the affidavit that when it was advertised.
I'm talking about the New Caney paper, not the Congo.
It was in the,
Yes,
it was in
both of them,
the,
yeah, it was in both of them.
I looked one.
Courier and the, what's the other one?
The East Montgomery County Journal.
Yeah, so it was in both papers.
what are we paying for building maintenance right now?
That's what we're looking at right now, because these three total is $747,815 for the mowing and groundskeeping. And in our budget, let me look and see what we have in our budget for 2018 for the same thing.
Just to give you an example, repairs and maintenance on the building, we budgeted $125,000. That's for repairs and maintenance. So when it gets a pass through, it's for the work done on everything related on the facility. And then contract labor, you got $100,000 in contract labor.
Okay.
So those are the two areas that we utilize in regards to the building and yard work and everything else.
So you would add those two together.
So that's
Is that-
$225,000.
Is that right? Normally about 200 and something is about where we are in regards to costs. Excluding the festivals and events. Okay, those are a different account category. But in relation to the buildings and stuff like that, we have 225,000.
Does that include our current maintenance contract? Don't we have a contract too, over and above that?
Those were the maintenance, the AC and all that, you'd still pay for those. They just monitor and call, but you would still keep those.
You got elevator and
Yeah.
air conditioner and all that kind of stuff.
Now, does the new bid, these bids that we got in, do they have the festival separated like we have now? Or is it included in that price?
It's included in that price.
Is there a reason why Labor Ready, People Ready didn't put a bid in on this?
Because the labor rate wouldn't put the they just provide
I said,
people.
I said,
Well, what we're comparing is, what we're paying now is for one person to manage the labor-ready people to do both building maintenance and grounds maintenance. And then we've got two bids separate for building maintenance, and then we got a separate bid for grounds
We
maintenance.
split the building, yeah, festival,
Right.
and then the mowing.
So we got two bids for mowing, we got one for building.
Right.
And the way we're going now is both combined. Is there any way to get that figure separated that?
Well, if you take just the mowing and grounds maintenance, that's $331,228. And then I'm sorry.
No, you got
No.
two bids.
You got two bids.
$249,228 and $82,000.
You don't want to choose.
You're only gonna take one of them, you take the 82.
I'm sorry.
That's two
You're right.
separate
And then
bids.
the other one's $416,000.
the problem right now is we got numbers all over the place, and we really need some numbers that we can look at. I mean, I feel like,
Well, you got two separate bids for one, but only one for the other.
Right.
And the one for the total of the way we do it now. So can we break up the way we're doing it now and separate that to comparison?
I mean, if you go through your budget, I mean, you didn't ask me to go through your budget, so I'll be happy to see what you're paying now. I think the bids are good for 30 days, so we can bring it back to you in 30 days and show you if you want.
What?
That's what.
I got a question. Does that, I mean, this figure, this $100,000 for lawn maintenance or whatever, that doesn't include the lawn equipment and all that, everything that, I mean, a lot of that belongs to the improvement district. So how much money is actually being spent on all that?
Yeah, these bids would provide their own equipment. You wouldn't provide any equipment.
These are turnkey bids, right?
I'm talking about what we're paying out now. That's what I'm talking about.
On repairs and maintenance,
No, I'm talking about on the lawn service. I mean, we
have-
announced so much for lawn maintenance, but you're not including all the money that the improvement district spends on lawn equipment that would furnish it.
I think normally we buy a new mower every 3 years, Paul. About every 3 years we buy a new one, give or take a little bit.
5 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, just in general, we don't buy a new lawnmower every year. About every 3 to 5 years, we don't,
I'm talking about that in general. I'm talking about weed eaters, I'm talking about everything that it takes to maintain this property.
Well, that's gonna be in the contract, I mean, in the budget. Those numbers will be in our budget, so,
I mean, if that's what you want me to do, is
Yeah,
back
is it
over your
comparison?
budget and see what you're paying now.
Well, yeah, you hand up.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out, going Scott, and what Martin said, do y'all want to break it down so much for the mow these yards, goal gunner so much? Are you going to combine that, or what are we trying to, what are we trying to accomplish here?
What I'm trying to accomplish personally is just take the time to look through stuff that normally isn't looked at in our budget, and always look and see if there's a better way, that if we're getting a better service or a better price. If we haven't shopped it, apparently it's never been put out there for bid, so nobody really knows if the price is good.
It's been probably 5 years,
I say,
and it came back, what we were paying was less than half of what the bids were.
right, and it may end up being that, but we're just doing due diligence and making sure we look at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, Joe, since these bids are good for 30 days,
Yep.
if you would, that way it would give us something to compare to.
Y'all holding bids for 30 days, guys? There's some two better,
Okay.
two
Oh, okay.
guys and
Okay.
building guys here, so
Okay.
they will hold them for 30 days.
Yes, sir.
So,
Thank you.
maybe I can understand this better. So you're gonna go back, and you're gonna sit down, and you're gonna figure out exactly how many nickels and dimes we spend on the lawn equipment, how much it costs per yard and all that, in our budget. Is that what we're talking about then?
I just wanted a total number for each company. I didn't need it broke down like that, but I mean, if Mark wants it, I'm good. I just want to know if we're getting our money's worth now, or if there's a better option, that's all.
Well, I'll tell you what I'd like to see. I'd like to see what we spend on maintenance on the lawn equipment for the last 3 years. And then we can, that is a good show. That's not saying, well, we had a bad year here, we had a good year here. But it takes a show of the whole thing.
That's what I was asking. What I'd like to see is if we accept the mowing and not the building, what would it be if,
And we'll be able to do
With the
that,
existing-
if you do that, if you go through our budget for the previous 3 years, that'll be a very good comparison to what we're looking at here. So that would be it is a comparison, it's the only comparison, and that will let us know which way we need to go. Either stay where we're at or look at additional changes.
Okay, I'll do it.
That'd be great, thank you. Yeah, so if you'll get it for our next meeting. Is everybody in agreement with that? Yeah.
I just want to make sure I'm understood right. So the current company that's doing it now, if they lost the yard and not the building, how much would it cost us still for the building?
Okay, well, it'll be split. It'll be split. I'll split it by building and lawn. Right, just like, okay?
And the bidders will hold their bid until the next meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As best I can for the last 3 years, to give you a comparison, because some of those items are kind of, intermingled and stuff, but I'll give you the best I can come up with.
If you split it building and lawn, if you split it, okay, is the lawn going to include the industrial park and the
Yes.
lawn?
That's part of the.
And the building just gonna be this building alone, nothing else, nothing to do with the buildings that we have at the industrial.
That will be separate.
It's gonna be 100% this building and 100% mowing this grass and mowing that.
The lawn, the mowing is here, the mowing outside the building perimeter, and the industrial park, which you clean up out there, picking up trash out of the ditch, that kind of stuff. The building will be inside the perimeter of the building, plus cleaning
The birds?
Yeah.
But I just wanna make sure that, because I don't want these guys to go back and bid this thing again.
They're not-
And turn around and have them say, well, y'all didn't explain it, so we're gonna bid building, and then we're gonna bid grass mowing.
It's not the bids that we got already, it's the current person that's doing our yard and building maintenance that we're asking for a breakdown. Right, Joe?
I'm sorry, what was
You said it's our current company that's doing the building and yard that we're asking for a breakdown. We've already got the bids to compete against that.
We just need the money from our budget.
I mean, you don't have really, you just pay out what you're doing now. You don't have really a bid. That's what I'm
We
going to go
just need the
through.
total
Budget.
close.
go through the budget and see what you've been paying and do the actual, you know, what it was for the past 3 years. That's what you want,
Separate from the building.
separate from the building.
It's not really a contract basis, it's pay as you go, where we're at. So that's what we've been doing.
So the budget we just approved was, we had $125,000 in building repairs. Paint, nails, screws, whatever, materials. We had a $100,000 maintenance contract. And we budgeted $100,000 to labor ready for hourly personnel on an as-needed basis for $325,000. Now, I know you're gonna go back and put a sharp pencil to that, but more than likely, that's the neighborhood we're gonna end up in. Somewhere around there, about $325,000. If you look at what these gentlemen have prepared for us, if you take, we only have one building bid, $416,587. You take the lowest ground bid, 82, that gets you to $498,587. I would assume we're still gonna spend $125,000 on paint, screws, and nails. That gets us to $623,587 compared to $325,000. Agreed? Okay, but you're gonna check on that for us.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
3 years.
Go back 3 years like Director Wett's asked. But that's kind of what we're probably looking at, if this good old country boy's math works out. Gotcha.
But the good thing about it is it'll give us direction to show that we are being fiscally sound in seeking outside just to make sure we're where we need to be. If that's the way it turns out to be.
See, I thought that y'all understood what I was saying before, now I'm starting to second guess that. I want a separate from building maintenance than lawn maintenance. Okay, so we have something to compare, okay. So we can always accept one of the bids on one side and still keep what we got for the other.
Right.
Okay.
But it'll still be combined with, overall, if we just look at it overall, because we had requested for both. They will be separate, but then you can combine the totals. So, okay.
Dave, going back to what you said a while ago,
Yes, sir.
the 125,000 you was talking about, the bolts and nuts, the screws, and the paint, if it goes out into the bid contract, that won't come into play in that money, will it? How would it come in play? If you're gonna bid, say you get a bid for, well, $400,000. If you're gonna do it, are you gonna add the other 125,000 to that? If you do that, then we're already just paying 125,000, so why do we need the 400,000?
Well, I think, and no, I see exactly where you're coming from, Leonard. And I didn't read the bid that carefully to see if it included materials. But what I'm getting at is that's the situation that we're exactly in right now. I think that's what prompted us to go through this exercise was we were paying $225,000 and then we have, or $200,000, and then there's $125,000 in building materials that get charged on an annual basis. So no, you're spot on. I was just trying to compare apples to apples.
Yeah.
If you take that 125 out, then what are you looking at? 498,587 is the building plus the grounds. And if your building contractor is absorbing the cost for building repairs, is that the scenario that you're?
You know, if you bid the contract at that price,
You're including materials.
then that should include all materials regardless of what it bid. Because now he's bidding a 100% total maintenance contract of what he's doing. That's the way I'm looking at it.
And you are correct. That gets you to 498,587, which is much closer.
I mean, I don't think you would bid a contract and then say, well, this contract does not include material.
That's what we're doing
That's
now.
just a labor contract only.
That's how we do business today. But I agree with you.
Do what, Jeff?
That was plus materials. You would be paying them back for materials.
Plus material? So the material wasn't, so the material was not in the original, that was just basic labor contract.
Because there was no way to bid materials.
Yeah,
I
not
mean,
knowing what you're
you
gonna
don't
need.
know what you're gonna need. You don't know what you're gonna need, so I had to split it, I had to tell the bidders, whatever you have to spend on materials, you get reimbursed.
So that was, so, okay. They'll go back to what you said.
Back to bid.
Go back, put your nails
Right.
and your paint back in.
Right.
Yeah, you have to put that, because
I'm
there's
just here to serve.
no way to
To know how much you'll need.
predict
Yeah.
how much materials you're gonna use because it changes.
Okay, well, we'll just carry this to next
I
month.
will go back and give you that comparison for next month.
Thank you.
So
What you gonna-
the new contract still will be without material.
That's correct.
Yeah, that materials number will stay
Yeah.
there.
Plus material. Contract plus material. I got you. I can have.
Thank you.
Next anyway.
Yeah, okay, let's just go on into number 10, go on to the next one.
All right, the first item on number 11 is the detention bond. He is, our dirt, selling the dirt. There was no need for sale this month. We do have a potential, I'll tell you, the guy's gonna buy 8,000 yards plus. We're stockpiling it for him so he can get it, so that'll be coming up. The next item is B, it is Texan Dirt's contract with the detention. He, should have been finished, but I know y'all know all the rain you've had, so I don't like to let it, but he is gonna finish. I talked to him today, he should finish next week early. We did receive pay application number 3 in the amount of $177,902, and he requested that you reduce his retainage to 5% from 10. You're still holding back $31,427, which is more than enough to cover anything out there. He's done a really good job. I don't know if y'all have been out there and seen it, but he has really done a good job. So we're gonna recommend that you pay that.
Okay, so we would need a motion to go ahead and pay that.
So
Okay, I've got a motion by Director Martin and a second by Director Pearson. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous, thank you.
Okay, the next item is the Quad-Best construction for the road, section 3. The only thing he's lacking is cleaning the ditches to make sure they drain and doing some shoulder work. And so we met with him, showed him exactly what he needs to do. He's begun the work, he's been out there today, yesterday and today. So we're gonna stay on until he gets it because it's gotta be approved by the county. The county's not gonna accept it. You know, we won't accept it till the county looks at it. So you don't have to put the application on that. The next item is Clearwater construction. He's been waiting to finish up his job until the dirt guy got out of the way. And now the dirt guys got out, we'll have them back in probably the next week or so, finish up their stuff. The lift station in that contract, they coated the inside, it's completely unacceptable, we told them that. We've got a meeting in the morning at 9:30 with them, and they're gonna tell us what they're gonna do. So we're not accepting it until it's coded, that's right. The next item on the meeting is the Angel Brothers contract for the roads, and now that the dirt job is finished, he's cleaning that up, he's regrading where he drove his truck. So we'll have Angel in there within the next week or so people can start. You know, I know the catering service wants to get started, they can't get to it, so hopefully we'll have their access in pretty quick. I'd say within maybe 4 or 5 weeks, tops. Next item is the status of the plant. We're going ahead with the Section 3 plant, and it's being finalized now for signatures. I just got the final address today, got the people that need to sign it, and we'll run it by you guys first. I guess Brenda will sign it first and get that done. Section 4 plant, waiting on one company to decide to come. If they don't come, the fire people, I think Frank's gonna give an answer next week on them. If they don't come, we're gonna move the cul-de-sac a little bit, make the land more readily lottable, instead of just a total 15 acres. So we'll finish that up and have that, hopefully have that plat ready for signatures in the next few weeks. The next item is the contract with Quadvest for the construction of the wastewater lift station. Project is complete. We started the lift station, ran it for an hour or more, and it ran great. We did have a change order on it, and for minus $18,600 savings. When we did the final accounting on the total project of everything else, you actually save $2,316.89. We have the final pay application, number 8, in the amount of $26,722.91, and that does reflect the change order, the negative change order. And we're going to ask you for approval. We also did a certificate of substantial completion dated today, which sets your year's maintenance. You know, they got a year from today, you're covered for a year if anything goes wrong. We're going to recommend to you that you pay them.
Got a motion by Director Martin and a second by Director Carlisle. Is there any discussion? All in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you.
Okay, the next item is the ENS contract for construction of your building. He's finishing off the interior work. He's still on schedule for the end of the month, finishing the whole job. You know, I say, I don't know if he's been by there, but it's pretty much up. Just about ready to knock that.
Okay.
He submitted his pay application number 9, the amount of $61,133.40, and you're withholding $70,536.55, which is 10% retainage. So we're going to recommend that you pay that.
Okay, so I need a motion for that. So motion by Director Pearson and a second by Director Martin. Any discussion? All in favor? And that's unanimous. Thank you.
And the conveyances, we're going to ask you to defer that. We still got to go through all the paperwork.
Okay, that's item N.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, that's just
Perfect.
paperwork to convey it to the three.
okay. Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
Here.
Okay, we're gonna go back, over to item 10 and do an update. If you want to, if there's, I know there's no update on it, but you want item 10 and then we'll do this.
We did skip over item 10. Nothing to report at this time, and architect hopefully should be here for the next meeting and give you guys an update at that point. So nothing on number 10 right now.
Okay, and we're going to go back to item 4 regarding the budget to go over the East Texas Fire and Ice budget as it looks today.
All right, just you got a proposed budget in regards to what we're looking at doing for the event. And again, just to make you aware of where we are, we have 2 plans, Plan A and Plan B, and probably should have Plan C also, but in any event, we have 2 plans. One is perfectly nice sunny day. Plan B, obviously we have some inclement weather. We need to make some accommodations for that. So once again, we have both plans there for you. And then also, just to kind of give you an idea, the known costs are at the top in regards to kind of what we're doing for those. And then we have budget estimate costs in the bottom category. And some of those, again, will depend on weather and will depend on what other costs that we may have that come up. So just to kind of give you an idea, total cost for the events around roughly $323,000 for Fire and Ice. So just so you know what the budget is and what we're spending the funds on, so you know ahead of time.
I thought we saved money on the talent,
We did.
17,000 for 5 artists.
and the total budget was 300.
We had last year we spent $371,000. for fire and ice last year.
And
So this year we're looking at 323.
Versus 330.
300,000 dollars.
We said we're roughly about 300. We have 323 is what we're looking at right
But
now.
we can also, this is not set, we can amend.
Yeah, again, you guys-
We can take stuff out.
Yeah, you want to take stuff out, we're happy to do it. Just tell us what you want to do.
Well, if we save 80,000 on talent, shouldn't that be 80,000 lower?
What's that?
Since we saved 80,000 on talent, shouldn't that be 80,000 lower in the bottom line?
We would have been close to around, probably 370 again, with the talent being about what it was.
Okay,
A lot of our costs have not gone down. If anything, they've gone up a little bit. But once again, we did save a significant amount on the talent that you guys wanted us to get engaged with for this event, yes.
I
Your
must have
offering
misunderstood.
festivals don't really deal with talent for the state, it deals with putting the rest of it on, like the labor, security, fencing.
Well, did I misunderstand? I thought the total budget was 300 and 100 was for talent, so we saved 80,000, so it should be 220. I must have misunderstood something.
Yeah, I think so, because we shouldn't have been at 300,000. I think we may have mentioned we're going to try to do that, but again, it's
I
not.
think you gave a, off the top of your head, estimate of what it was.
Yeah.
It's not about the numbers, but you did say around 300 and around 100, so. that's-
371 was what we spent last time. So this ballpark
Yeah, I
number.
remember you saying that, yeah.
If you can get the boys in blue to volunteer security, we can get it under 300,000.
I agree 100%, yeah. Steven?
Frank, is
I'll
that,
go
There
in
you
one
go.
time if I need to.
hey, is that what we spent on fireworks last year?
The fire and ice costs for last year were 371,000.
No, I'm talking about the fireworks overlay.
Yes.
The fireworks,
Yes, that's what we spent last year.
Yes.
And that is with a significant discount.
But again, these are items that we can adjust.
Are these the same thing we had last time? Or is this an
Actually,
upgrade?
what we have done is we have gotten a couple of additional things, but we've gotten either the bid to be the same as last year, so they've thrown things in, or they have we've shaved $20,000 off, I can just say, on just a couple of things, because, in return for putting up a banner, some of them came down $10,000 on their actual costs for us to do this. So, it's, a lot of the things are either the same as last year or better than, but at the same cost or even a lesser cost than last year.
So we're getting more for the same.
You're getting more for the same or more for even less.
I like that.
Yeah, we do too.
one example was we got 90,000 pounds of ice coming. I think last year, did we do like 20,000 or 40,000?
No, we did
It was
90,000, but for about the same price, they're actually throwing in 6 employees.
Yeah,
So we don't have to
Provide
pay
someone.
additional or provide additional people, and they're very familiar with how this snow sleds run. So they've thrown in 6 employees.
So we'll save our people ready to go.
Well, yeah, or volunteers or other people that, nonprofits that we intend to pay to look over some of these things.
And another thing, the time of the year we're doing it, October as compared to January, we talked to the ice folks and they have a better way of ensuring the ice lasts a little bit longer. And so there's different ways that they can set it up and structure it, that it works better for the time of the year that we are. So,
But
Well-
like the midway, with the Ferris wheel and, we've actually got a couple of more rides. So it's bigger, it's more visible. But in exchange for them having the naming rights to the midway, it's the Moonwalk some more midway, they came down like $8,000 or $10,000 off the price.
And added more things.
And we got more than, we got exactly what we wanted for
Less than what it was last year.
less than,
So you're asking us to go through this and determine if we want it all or shave off this or that?
once again, just want to make sure you're aware of what's going on, I don't want to, get right before the event and say, gosh, how did this happen? We want to make sure everyone is aware of what's going on, and here's your budget for the event, and If you want to start shaving dollars off the budget, then this is the time to do it right now. Tell us what you want to do and what you don't want to do. And we'll accommodate those changes and make it happen.
And I would also like to add that, you know, that doesn't include any revenue, any sponsorships that we are seeking. You know, last year we got, you know, from St. John's Construction donated $10,000. You know, different people donated money, and so we're also looking at that as sponsorships.
That's not included.
That is not included because we have not started, well, we started today on that. But that's,
So this number will go down as we get sponsors coming
the
in.
idea is for, yes, it would go down with your sponsor.
The sponsor won't be buying extra stuff, they'll just be making our dollar go down.
Right.
Good, I like that.
I think Landon had a question.
Is Back Road Production, are they gonna do up the beer completely?
They're going to be the main beer sponsor, and once again, we'll buy that from them, and then it will be resold through a venue. Will be resold to the attendees. Yes.
I don't understand that. What does that mean? What's Justin Cassidy got to do with that alcohol thing?
In most riders for performers, there's some degree of beverages that they're going to want you to provide. So that's why he's included in there. He wants some beverages in his contract.
$4,000 worth?
No. Again, if you want to look at any of that stuff, please come to my office. I've got it. You know, it might be 3 12-packs of Michelob Ultra and a bottle of Crown Royal. I mean, it's not astronomical. That's not the major thing in that area. Okay, that just happens to be a rider that might be in some of the entertainers' contracts.
That main cost on that item is buying the back pew beer that
Right.
we would sell.
So
Which
you
you would make money off of and give it to the scholarship foundation.
Right.
Okay.
I got one more question. I can see us having the toilets, but if this is an open venue, we're not charging, why are we spending so much money on fencing?
That's a security issue.
Right. Huh?
You've got alcohol, and you've got people, you've got heat, you've got bands. You've got to have a secure location. So that fencing is to allow for one entrance in and one exit out. It's a better secure location. You don't want people being able to go everywhere. You've got fireworks that are being put in the amphitheater. You don't want people roaming with beer outside of your fencing. So you want to be able to control your access, and it's,
Okay.
you know,
I definitely understand that because
It's
it's
security.
rules.
I mean, that's your number one priority in this entire event is security. You want it to be a safe place. The next thing would be that you want them to have fun while they're there.
Right.
So can you talk a little bit about the $30,000 for just volunteers, what you're doing there?
Oh,
And I'll
first.
explain why in a second.
Once again, those are individuals that will have at the event. You have folks to limit ingress and egress, you know, checking folks coming in and out. You have volunteers that might be assigned to help out, you know, for different areas in the venue. So once again, these are
So that
volunteers.
money, is that for compensation though? Is that-
Yes,
Okay, that's
that is
what-
correct.
So here's where I was going with that. As much as I don't want to be in the concert business, ever again, ever again,
You know you're not the only one.
I would just point out that if you took that 30,000 plus the 25,000 in security, plus what we're paying to the school district, plus what we're paying for other school district amenities like the community room, et cetera, whatever, you get to about $80,000, which for every dollar we spend locally, that puts $7 in your local economy. So as much as I don't ever want to be in the concert business, you could make the argument that that's a $560,000 bump to the local economy by the time you pay the security, your volunteer workers, and the school district. And some of these vendors may be local, I'm not saying they're not, I just don't know. I'm just looking at the list that I absolutely know is local. So,
I would also add that the people that we intend to, your volunteer / workers,
mhm.
you know, what we intend to do is have the New Canaan IC Education Foundation, for instance, the American Legion, and get those groups out there, and then that's a donation to their nonprofit organization. So, I mean, you know, you've got your civic duties going on here, and paying some of those organizations, or perhaps if the Splendora ISD Foundation is done yet, you know, then those would be donations to their organizations.
Project graduation would be a deal.
Project Graduation, the East Montgomery County Fair Association, I mean, all of those different groups.
Ones that we donate to, that we give grants to throughout the year, can give back to their community through the improvement district, and still get money for their
Yes.
nonprofit.
That is our intention.
I'm probably the only one who hasn't commented. It seems to me that reducing this budget $40,000 to $50,000, which is what we've done over last year, is very reasonable for an event that hopefully will benefit the whole community.
Amen.
I'm with that too.
I mean, everything that we've done to think about this community, what this community wants, how this community can be benefited, you know, by working it, by sending it, by being entertained by it, by, you know, the food trucks, everything. It's all been with this community in mind.
What is the major difference and why is there a plan A and plan B?
Because if you have, a weather event
Well-
and the ground is too wet, then you cannot park, south of the Grand Parkway, which is Plan A. And there's another parking area that we're looking at, but we have to get permission for that. But if you've got a weather event, even 5 days before, and the ground is too wet to park there, we're gonna probably have to do something like we did last year for Fire and Ice, and that's the 3 satellite parking areas. That requires 26 buses, which your transportation costs go out the roof because you've got to shuttle people in from Dunford Stadium, McKinney High School parking lot and annex, and then we had
Solace Park.
Solace Park.
Mhm.
So you have the 3 different satellite locations. So if you can't park people in in a field.
Right.
You've got to have a plan in place, ready to go.
So golf carts go down and buses go up.
You don't need as many golf carts shuttling people
Right.
in from under the Grant Parkway, but you've got to have the school buses.
I think this looks pretty good.
So if you're all okay with this, we'll go execute it. If you're not, let's make changes and let's do it.
Have we got a list of, the final list of the talent?
We have one signed contract, the others are still out there. I have reminded them that we need them to be returned and signed.
Well, I like to say this.
But it's basically the same one that we picked.
Oh, yes, they've all
Yeah.
agreed, but they haven't signed, you know,
That part won't
dotted their
change.
i's and crossed their t's.
Yeah, that part won't change. Okay?
Once again, let me hand these out to you. This kind of just gives you a general idea as far as what we're thinking. It's not finalized yet. We're not ready to go talk to the public about it yet. But at least it'll give you some idea in regards to scheduling and how we have the venues kind of laid out, okay? So,
Awesome.
once we have the final entertainment contract signed and you know, agreed on, then we'll be ready to start announcing and start doing some marketing, toward the event, okay?
If everybody's good with that, then we'll move on to the next item. Let me flip back over to that page. You want to take out the items I through, with it.
Okay, so item I, once again, we have a $12.95 for Woodland Fluid Power. This is just a holding company in regards to the purchase of the site at the industrial park. We just need to approve that since they've changed the name of the holding company. So all this is just approving that name change, and we are set to close on them on April 17th.
So moved.
I'm sorry, August. There you go.
August 17th. I have a motion by Director Carlisle,
Second.
second by Director Zepeda. Any discussion? All in favor? It's unanimous, thank you.
And item J, the same thing. The company has set up a holding company for the real estate, and this is Metal Specialties. We just need a motion to change that name for a holding company for the real estate.
A motion by Director Dale Martin and a second by Director Pearson. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous, thank you.
Nothing on item K or L. Still waiting to hear back from those guys, and everything looks good. Just waiting to hear back in regards to timing wise when they'd like to start construction. On item M, Janista. This is the company with the Polar Rig. We're just looking to repurchase that property back from them. They're not going to. They had purchased an additional 5 acres as far as a large laydown area, and they're going to accommodate that in their existing site. And we want to purchase that property back from them for the price that they purchased it, and we'll have someone else on there within a year. So we just want to purchase that.
On
back.
that?
Mhm.
Okay. So we would need a motion to approve that. I've got a motion by Director Pearson, a second by Director Hessen. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous, thank you.
And on item N, Joe had mentioned we're not ready to do that conveyance yet. So down the road, we'll be ready, but not today.
Okay, next item number 12 is regarding the Gigabit City REIT business model.
And this was, the company came in and talked to you guys a couple of months ago. Once again, based on what you heard, I want to make sure that we were clear as far as what we wanted to do. Are you guys interested, based on what you heard, to get a financial proposal back from them? Or, I mean, are you interested or are you not interested? Just give us some guidance.
These are the people with the infrastructure.
Yes, and if you are, I'll get them back to our next meeting and put together a financial proposal for y'all to look at. So just give us some guidance on what you want us to do.
Yes.
Okay.
I think there's other
Is this the
companies.
people that came here and presented, that
Yes.
Scott had
Yes.
talked to?
Yes. Uh-huh.
I'm told there's other companies out there doing the same thing that we just don't know about.
Yeah.
Well,
So give us guidance, what you want us to do, and we'll go execute it.
There
Okay?
are other companies out there absolutely doing this. This REIT model is, I think, pretty unique in terms of networking. The REIT piece is what makes it unique. I'm not saying that's a good thing, Stephen, I don't know. I'm like Dr. Pearson, I want to know more, but I don't see the angle yet.
Well, I definitely want to know more, but are they wanting us to give them money?
Well, that's what I'm asking you.
And
Do
one
you
was
want,
to partner with them.
do you want me to go get a proposal? You've heard their presentation. And it,
I heard them say
What
this
they're
won't be
doing-
any cost to you.
What they're doing right now is a study of the area. When they left, they're studying to see if their business model fits here. Then they'll come back and say, basically, this is where we're at. If I'm correct, any money put out would be recovered in income, right?
fee income.
Fee income that
Right.
comes back or would be funded.
Right.
I think after they do their due diligence, they're gonna come back and say there's not a lot of money to be made. Because I think where they make the most of their money is when there's communities that are outliers that are pretty far away, that are very easy to connect and get them in network. And what you find with us in this corridor is our corridor is pretty well connected. We have no density east and west. It's not like we have a huge population center north of Cleveland with 75,000 people that's dark. Does that make sense? And all we would have to do is connect them to the last T1 line right here in, say, North New Caney. That's not the situation that we're in. We're pretty well connected up and down the corridor. It's just between here and 45, our connection falls off, and certainly east, our connection falls off. And so I got a feeling after they do their due diligence, they're gonna see that we're kind of on that fringe and there's not a lot of money to be made. But I still wanna know what they have to say.
It said that he got some kind of new connection for somebody going behind them, and they were able to move it up to him. I'd like to look at that a little bit more.
Because right now, I think it's only phonoscope that goes that far.
Yeah.
I think that's,
Yeah.
And the deal is, it doesn't cost to listen to it.
Right.
They're spending all their money to do the study.
Oh, it doesn't cost anything to look at it.
Yeah, yeah, I think.
But you're right, I don't wanna pay.
Ask them to,
Okay.
I heard them say that this wasn't gonna cost us anything, so I'm surprised to hear that they're talking about cost sharing or something.
I think there's an upfront cost in regards to the participation model, but then you get paid back in the future off of service providers. So I think that's their model. And once again, if you want to look at it, just let me know and I'll get them back here and let them present that. You guys can look at it. If you like it, great. If you don't, it's okay. You know,
Yeah.
just give you something to look at.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
All right.
So are you pursuing or are you waiting until this?
No, I think most everyone wants to hear what they have to say, and I'll get them to our next meeting with a formal proposal. Okay?
All right. Okay, the next item is regarding the Supreme Court ruling on grant policies.
And once again, you guys had discussed in regards to the Supreme Court ruling in Missouri regarding faith-based organizations, and just to make sure we're in compliance and want to go down the road and make the right decision there. Based on legal counsel, David has visited with you guys as well. And just if we need to make any changes or adoptions to our current policies that we have.
And I think based on that, on our current application for the regular grant, on number 12 of the application, I think we should just go ahead and delete the information about whether or not it's a faith-based organization and whether or not they have regular worship.
I will make the motion that we withdraw that criteria and allow the Supreme Court decision. Second.
Okay?
There was one thing though, we talked about, even if we withdrew that we could still hold them accountable for not discriminating and proselytizing. So,
Absolutely.
David?
Oh, fair policy.
Thank you, sir.
Do we need to go ahead, David, with the motion, or can we just give you direction?
Yeah, you can just.
Okay, because we have the motion by Director Martin and a second by Director Carlisle.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can fix the application.
Is there any, okay, perfect. Thank you. Is there any other discussion?
What's, we're gonna do? We're going to,
Remove the information regarding religious organization.
so we're gonna take that out
Yes,
completely, so now a church can apply.
yes.
And then it'd be up to us to decide where that, but we can't say, well, we can't give you the grant because you are a church organization.
Supreme Court ruling, yes, yes,
As
yes.
long as the church does it for the playgrounds and stuff and not for the preacher's salary.
Well, we still have our criteria in place. The Supreme Court ruling is that you cannot discriminate, or this, I think that's the word they use because of their being a faith-based organization. So I think it's to our advantage to remove that.
For both grants.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Okay, any other discussion? All in favor? And that's unanimous, thank you. The next item is matters for placement on future agendas. If nobody has any, we will adjourn. And it is 8:31. Thank you all for coming out this evening. Please have a safe trip home.